Hello everyone. We will be solving this one, the problem rain and the umbrellas. So you can write, you can read the entire problem here. So yeah, I'll just summarize so that we will be understanding the same problem in a simpler way. So what the question says here, Polycarp needs to, this guy's name is Polycarp basically. Polycarp needs to travel from point x equals 0. He needs to travel from point x equals 0 to x equals a. So he needs to travel from x equals 0 to x equals a on a coordinate line while avoiding getting wet from rain. He shouldn't get wet from the rain. That's what the question says. There are several segments where it is raining and Polycarp can only move through these segments if he carries an umbrella. So also he can pick up or drop umbrellas at specified locations. Each umbrella has a weight and the goal is to minimize the total fatigue that is incurred due to carrying these umbrellas. Our main goal is, so he's traveling from x2 to xa, he has to carry the umbrellas and he shouldn't get wet. That is in a simple term. And what is our goal? Our goal is to find each umbrella has a weight. That thing that we have to keep in mind. And our goal is to minimize the total fatigue. Fatigue that is incurred due to carrying these umbrellas. So we have to minimize the total fatigue that is incurred due to carrying these umbrellas, right? So let me delete this one. Just give me a second. Yeah, let's discuss how this problem can be solved. So initially what we will do, first step is always we are going with the input handling, right? We'll be making use of the JavaScript or the Node.js. So we'll be going with the, as always, we'll be going with the input handling. This is first step, this one. And second step, what we will be doing after input handling, will be going through the core logic or the main logic. Here, let's come to the input reading. So what we will do, we will capture the input values and initialize arrays to track the rain and umbrella information. This will be second one. So second step, what we are doing mainly, we are capturing the input values and we are also initializing the arrays. Why we are initializing arrays and capturing the input values? Mainly to track the rain and umbrella information. That is the reason. Third step, we are going with the DP. Means the approach that we'll be making use of for this problem is dynamic programming, DP. So what we are doing here, dynamic programming setup. What we'll be doing, we'll be making use of the array. This one, I'll just make use of cumulation, nothing but I'll just give CUMM. And to keep track of the rain segments, right? And also we'll be making use of the array, this one cumulation, this one second one. We'll also make use of the array umbrella. We are making use of UMB, cumulation, CUMM and umbrella, UMB. Mainly cumulation to keep track of rain segments here. Keep track of rain segments, we are making use of this one. And UMB umbrella to record the minimum weight of umbrella available at each point. Mainly to record the minimum weight of the umbrellas. Just remember to record the minimum weight of umbrellas. We'll be making use of this one, UMB array, right? This is the third step. What will be the fourth step? We have to calculate nothing but the dynamic programming calculation. What we are doing in the dynamic programming calculation, we are updating the DP to calculate the minimum fatigue to reach each point. That's what we will be doing. And also we have to keep in mind that if it's impossible to proceed, then we will be printing -1. We will update the DP to calculate the minimum fatigue. That's what we have to calculate, right? Mainly, we are calculating the min fatigue. We are calculating the minimum fatigue. I'll just give min f. Also, if it is impossible to proceed, nothing but if there are no valid umbrellas for the rainy segment, then we are printing -1. These two things we have to keep in mind. First one, what we are doing, we are updating the DP to calculate the minimum fatigue to each point, this one. And also the second one, if there are no valid umbrellas for the rainy segment, then we'll be directly printing -1. The fifth one is the last step, and we are outputting the result. Nothing but we'll be making use of the console log. As we are going with the Node.js or the JavaScript, we'll be outputting the result using the console log. Same thing that we get by calculating nothing but DP calculation. That's what we'll be outputting the result using the console log. So let me remove this one. We'll write the code so that you'll understand clearly. So first step, what we'll be doing, as usual, we'll start by reading the input from the standard input. I'll just come here. Let me give standard input resume. This is fine. Next, we will convert this one, set the encoding to the UTF-8. Again, I'll just give set encoding to UTF-8. So input handling is same for most of the problems. If you have followed the previous problems, you will be knowing these steps. Input handling, first half of the problem is mainly input handling itself, and it is same for most of the problems. So next what we will do, I'll just set the input string to empty string. Also, let me set the current line. That is nothing but we have to read the first line, right? I'll just initially set the current line to 0. That's what I'll be doing. Next, after this one, let's append the input string to the input stdin. So this is the event listener, right? So how can we do that? I'll just give on, let's make use of the data. Also, let me take input stdin. So here, what we are doing, we are appending the input string to input stdin. So this is what we are doing. This is fine. Next, we'll again make use of the event listener, right? So how can we do? Why we are making use of event listener again? So we have to remove the white spaces from the each input that we are reading, right? So for that purpose, we'll be making use of this one, and we have to read the every single line of input. Then how can we do that? I'll paste the same thing here. Instead of data, let me give end. Here, let me remove this one as well. Also, here, let me remove this one. Instead of standard input, let me give this input string. So to remove the white space, I'll just make use of the trim, and let me make use of split to read the individual lines. Also, finally, let me give to remove the white spaces from the from each line. I'll just be making use of string and string dot trim. So this is fine. Next, here we have to call the main function as well. So we have not written the main function yet. We will be writing the main function in the future. So I just leave the space after writing the main function or the core logic within the main function. We will call the main function by coming here again. So what I'll do next, let's write the function to read the every line of input. First, we will be reading the first line, and we have to read each line of the input, right? For that purpose, I'll just make use of the function read line. So this will be fair. This is fair. I'll just return input string. This will be current line. Yeah, this is. So next what we'll do, let's write the main function. Here we will be writing the core logic or the main logic for the problem. What did I do? Sorry. Yeah. What I'll do first, as I have said, while explaining the approach, we will be reading the input values. Nothing but input values of what? For destination, number of range segments, as well as the umbrellas. I'll just make use of the destructuring operator. You can individually mention the variable names as well. It is easy with the destructuring operator. I'll just name this one destination, number of range segments, as well as the umbrellas, right? I'll just take A, N, and M. I'll just give, we are reading, so I'll just make use of the read line. Also, there should be space between the input, so I'll just make use of the split, and let me map the number type, or you can make use of the begint as well. If we are dealing with the large inputs or the large numbers, we can make use of the begint. In my case, I'll just go with the number. So this is easy to understand. So next I'll just go with the array to keep track of whether it's raining at each point or not. So for that purpose, I'll just be making accumulation. So I'll just give CUMM here in case of new array A plus 2, and I'll just fill this one with 0. This is fine. Next, one more array we will make use of another array to store the minimum weight of umbrella at each point. So we should also store the minimum weight of umbrella at each point, right? So I'll just give umbrella UMB I'll make use of. So new array, then again same thing, A plus 2. Let's fill this one initially with 0. This is fine. Then we have to process each range segment, right? How can we process it at each range segment? We have to go for the iteration. For that, I'll just make use of the for loop. This will be I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So this is fine. Again, I'll just make use of the destructure operator. So we are reading. For the read, I'll just make use of the read line. There has to be space between the input, so I'll just give split. Also, we are mapping using the number type, or if you are making use of begint, you can make use of the begint as well here. Accumulation of CUMM. I have, great. This has to be L plus 1. I'll just set this one to 1. What is this? This is the start of the range segment, and we are mentioning the start of the range segment as well as end of the range segment. I'll just give accumulation L plus 1. This one will be R plus 1. This one also, I'll just set this one to minus 1. So start of the range segment, we are initializing this one to the 1, and end of the range segment, we are initializing to minus 1. So I hope this is clear. Till here, I hope it is clear. Next, we have to, after processing the each range segment, we will process each umbrella. Again, we'll be making use of for loop. So I'll just give for, just give me a second. Let's 0 m, just increment the I. So this is fine. Next, again, I'll just be making use of the destructuring operator. Let me give comma p. Again, same thing. You can just copy paste and do this one. What do you call? Make the necessary changes. I'll just type it instead. Let me leave the space here, and also let's map the number of type number. So finally, we'll store the minimum weight of the, what we are doing, we are storing the minimum weight of the umbrella at the position x, right? So I'll just take UMB. In the destructuring operator, we have given x. I'll just make use of x here, and minimum weight we are storing the minimum weight, right? So I'll just make use of the math.min here. So let me go with math.min of umbrella x, comma p. Through p, we will get the minimum weight of the umbrella. So this is fine. After this step, let's start with the dynamic programming array, right? Let's initialize the dynamic programming array for the minimum fatigue. So I'll just give, let dp equals new array of a plus 2. This is fine. Let's fill this one with positive infinity. I'll just give infinity. Make sure that you keep the I caps. I make this mistake most of the times. Make sure that we are giving the I capital. So, and also dp of 0 will be, if no fatigue at the start and end points, then we will set dp of 0 equals, we'll initialize that one to dp of 0 as well as or dp of a plus 1 to 0. How can we write that? dp of 0, dp of a plus 1. We are initializing this one to 0, right? Next, after doing this, initializing the dynamic programming array for the minimum fatigue, we have to compute the minimum fatigue that is required to reach the each point. This is the main logic, right? How can we do that? I'll just be making use of the for loop again. So I'll just give let I equals 1, I less than or equal to a, I plus plus. So this is fair. C double M of I. This one will be Cu double M of I minus 1. This is fair. What we have done here in this step, we are updating the range data set position 1, right? At position I, sorry, not position 1 here, iteration of accumulation, right? So this one of I. So we are updating the range data set position I. So if it's raining at position 1, then we can compute the minimum fatigue by considering all possible previous points j. So for that one, we have to go with the condition, right? So I'll just be making use of if condition. So here, let me lay a line. So this looks good. Iterated value of accumulation. So then what I'll do, I'll just give, we have to compute the minimum fatigue, right? Again, I'll just make use of the for loop. Let me give equals I minus 1 j greater than or equal to 0, and let's decrement. So this is reverse iteration. Then we have to calculate the minimum fatigue. For calculating the minimum fatigue, iterated value of the dp we are making use of, right? I'll just make use of, for the minimum fatigue, I'll just we have to calculate, right? I'll just make use of math.min of dp iterated value of the dp and dp of j plus dp of j into I minus j. So this is fine. So next, what we'll be doing, if no valid umbrella was found, then we have to output -1. While we were discussing the approach, I had said at the last this one point, if there are no valid umbrellas or if no valid umbrellas were found, then we are directly outputting -1, right? So how can we write that? For that purpose, this will be condition. So I'll just be make use of the if condition. Iterated value of the dp, if it is equal to infinity, then what I'll do, I'll just make use of console log and print -1 directly here. This will be good. I'll just return nothing. So I hope this is clear till here. So else what we will do, if not raining and we are just if not raining, then we'll just carry forward the fatigue from the previous point to the next point. So this is simple. We are just giving dp of I, we are setting this one to dp of I minus 1, right? So this will be iterated value of the dp equals dp of I minus 1. If it is not raining, we are just carrying forward the fitting from the previous point. So this is simple. So finally we have got the answer. We have to print the result, right? So the answer will be in the a of dp, nothing but dp of a within the array. So how can we print that one? To print, I'll just make use of the console log and I'll just give this one here, dp of a. So here this is fine. So this is it. Here I'll come, let's call the main function. Most of the times I forget to call the main function. So this is it. Let me come here. Let me copy the input. Our output has to be 14, right? Let's check. I'll just give this one. This has to be 14. So what did I do here? Instead of equals, I have given minus, line number 25. So I'll just come here. So let's run again. Set encoding, line number 2. This has to be capital E, right? Just give me a second. Yeah, Again, let me hit the run button. So how many mistakes I have done? Reference error, input stdin is not defined. So line number 8, I have not defined input string. So input stdin. So here I think somewhere I have done the mistake. So here, yeah, this has to be capital S, right? So let me hit the run again. Line number 23, this array has to be capital. So line number 23, where it is? So many typos I make. This has to be capital array. Again, I hit the, so we are getting 0. Somewhere I have done the mistake in the logic. Let's check what I have done. Here, what mistake I have done here is, in the line number 23, we are filling this one, new rf a plus 2 we have given. We are filling this one with zeros. Let's fill this one with infinity instead of 0, positive infinity, not the negative infinity. So I has to be capital. So this one we have to keep in mind. So I'll just hit the run button. So now we are getting the output 14, right? So let's check with other output, other inputs as well. So I'll just come here. So let me copy this one. We have to get the output 45. So let me copy this one, paste it over here. So we are getting the output 45. This works correctly, right? So also let me copy the final one. We have to get -1 here. So, so here we are getting -1, right? So the code is working correctly. Just give me a second. Just come here, submit code. I'll just come here. Which part of the problem is this? Rain and umbrella, right? So let me hit the submit. So let's wait for some time. This is taking time. So this is showing accepted actually. Let's wait for some time. Why this is very slow? So yeah, here you can clearly see this got accepted, right? So yeah, I'll just close. I'll just come here. So what mistake I did is, here instead of the infinity, I had given, we were filling with 0 and some typos, right? Can ignore the typos, but here instead of zeros, instead of infinity, I had given 0. That was the main mistake. So now the code works absolutely correct and it was accepted, right? So this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.